Hey everyone, and welcome to this Dota 2 guide on the best 5 support heroes for beginners and those that are relatively new to the game in patch 7.28 in Dota 2. In this guide, I'll be giving you a breakdown of 5 heroes, why they're so beginner friendly, and I'll be giving you suggested item builds to get you started. Now, we're going to start this video off with my absolute favorite support in the game, and that's my boy, or I should say my boys, the Ogre Magi's. Now, Ogre Magi is a truly fantastic hero and is actually one of the highest win rate heroes in the entire game, not just for supports, literally in the entire game, and that is for good reason. First of all, he has a great damage over time, but more importantly, right, not only does he slow at far range, but he's got a stun. And one of the reasons why at low MMRs, Ogre Magi tends to be so impactful is because one of the other supports that is commonly picked, someone like Crystal Maiden, she ults, you Fire Blast her, she's stunned, the ult has been cancelled. And it's fantastic because Ogre Magi having a stun, a slow, and then a bloodlust, which basically amplifies the attack speed of your late game carries, he's useful all game. And he's beginner friendly because with multicast, it's a passive ability that doesn't require a button press, but it's also a damn good passive ability that can chain lock people in stuns. Like, Ogre Magi is always useful in a game, and that is why he is one of the best heroes right now. He's relatively simplistic to play from like an actual mechanical standpoint, but he's always relevant, he's always good, and he has a fantastic win rate right now. Now let's talk about items here, because items are what kind of make him kind of stand out a little bit. Now, there's a few things with itemization here that I want to break down. Let's get started with the starting items. So with Ogre Magi, with all these supports, we're going to start with 6 tangos. Now, that's assuming you're position 5, and you're going to be giving 2 tangos to your mid laner, okay, so that they may use them. That is tradition in Dota 2. The position 5 gives the mid laner position 2. The position 5 gives the position 2 tangos. You have the Orb of Venom. Now, this is great for Ogre Magi because what it does is it enables him to harass very effectively. Treant Protector is another hero that we'll talk about that utilizes this as well. And an Enchanted Mango and a Clarity. Obviously, you need a tango for the healing. Ogre Venom is so that you can harass in lane. So, like, for instance, let's bring it in here. We're going to be too close to the tower now, but we're going to bring it in here. I'll show you. I'll give you an example here, right? So, what the Orb of Venom allows you to do here, let's drop a hero here. Let's make him nice and powerful, why not? So you're in lane here, he's attacking stuff, and what you can do, oh, I'm controlling the wrong hero there. What you can do is harass him, and what the Orb of Venom does is it slows him down, so it's harder for him to run away. And like, that's a significant difference in speed, and you can kind of see it, right? So he's at 310 speed. If I hit him with the Orb of Venom, he drops to 269, which might allow your carry, who you're in lane with, to actually get a kill. So what the nice thing about Ogre Magi is when you couple the Fire Blast with the Orb of Venom, you're in a situation where, you know, if a guy's at low health, you Orb of Venom him, right, or you stun him, and as he's trying to run away, he's Orb of Venom, and he can't run away because he's slowed, and you're able to get a kill on him, right? So that's what makes Ogre Magi particularly effective there. You get the Enchanted Mango because, like, you're really mana strapped. And if you have a kill opportunity with Bloodlust, you use your Mango. The Mango gives you 100, it gives you 100 mana now. It used to be 110. It gives you 100 mana, but Fire Blast is only 70. So if you use a Mango, it guarantees your opportunity to use a Fire Blast if one of those opportunities comes up. And of course, Clarity, because you are really short on mana in this game. And an Ogre Magi without mana is kind of useless. You're going to have to buy more Clarities as you move on. Now, with regards to the early game, the way I've designed this here, now, this is for all these supports. A casual windlace is nothing to scoff at, because it can be expensive getting to boots. Now, Ogre Magi does a fancy thing with boots here, and I'll talk about this in a second. But there's nothing wrong with getting a casual windlace as you start to kind of burn through some of your resources, right? You're burning through your resources, you're using your tangos, right? It's going to take you a while to get to boots, so getting that windlace at 250, and with Ogre Magi, because he's a melee hero, and he has a really short range on Fire Blast, a better range on Ignite, you know, having the extra movement speed is beneficial. So, you know, don't think that windlace is not valuable. Now, with regards to boots, I do recommend arcane boots to start. But you might say, Alex, why are there 2 sets of boots? If you're a new player, here's a relatively, a kind of advanced concept, the idea of disassembling. So what you're going to do here is when you build arcane boots, it contains 2 items. It contains the boots of speed and the energy booster. Now, most players will build the boots first. You can also wait to energy booster if you wish. If you go with a windlace, you can go with the booster first. It's up to you. But let's assume you buy both. They combine. You got your arcane boots. Perfect. Now, the thing is, though, because you're position 5 support, you're going to buy healing salves, you're going to be buying more clarities, you're going to be buying sentry wards. You're going to be spending your money in ways your cores do not. You're also not farm dependent, so you're going to be giving up last hits for your carries, okay? So the result of that is you gain mana much more slowly. So you have to make effective use of these items. So you need mana early game, but you also need an Aether Lens, and the Aether Lens greatly increases your cast range. Like, let's take a look here. So our Fire Blast is going roughly to that tree right here, right? You see that? Well, if we add an Aether Lens, the distance is significantly further, right? So you're going to the next tree over. So that doesn't seem like much, but it really is when you think about it. Because look at the distance on Ignite now. Ignite's almost hitting the tower. Without the Aether Lens, Ignite doesn't even come close. It's basically at the courier. That's a big difference if you're chasing someone, right? So Aether Lens is very valuable. The problem is Aether Lens is expensive. It's well, it's not too expensive, but for support it is. You don't get a lot of farm, but it has an energy booster. That's common with the boots, the arcane boots. So what you do here is when you're building towards the Aether Lens, you buy the Voidstone first, and then you buy the recipe. And when you have the recipe and the Voidstone, what you do is you disassemble the arcane boots. Okay, you unlock combining on the orb here, and the energy booster, sorry, and you get your Aether Lens. Now you just have a regular boots of speed. You unlock combining here, and now what you do is you buy the Tranquil boots. You already have your Windlace, so you literally spend 175 additional gold, and you get Tranquil boots. So it is a very intelligent way to utilize your items in order to kind of make the most out of your gold. And this can be done for any of the heroes, like Shadow Shaman can do this in order to take advantage of Aether Lens. There's a number of heroes that, Skywrath Mage can do this. There's a number of heroes that really take advantage of this kind of stuff, okay? So it's something to bear in mind. With Ogre Magi too, the Agnum Shard I think is important as well. Fire Shield is a good item, and with multicast, it can be multicast on you as well and on your allies, so it's a very valuable item. And in the late game, Agnum Scepter, and the reason for this, I'm going to actually level myself up here. I'll level the max, why not? The reason why Agnum Scepter is so important is because what it does is it gives you additional stuns here. So let's do a quick cast here. We got a multi-cast, multiple fire shields. But look, we stun this guy, we stun him again. Okay? It's 2 individual stuns. And we didn't actually multi-cast anything there. But look, see, there's a multi-cast. There's a multi-cast. So suddenly we're hitting this guy with a lot of damage, right? With these fire blasts. And that's important, and the Agnum Scepter allows that if you get to that far in the game. There's also situational items, like if you find yourself getting jumped by like PAs or others, you can get a Ghost Scepter. So basically what happens here, if you're being attacked, right, you're like, oh, I'm gonna die. You Ghost Scepter, and he can no longer attack you, and it gives you a second to kind of run away or to get into better position. That's what Ghost Scepter allows you to do. It's like a survival item for many supports. Spirit Vessel is a great item for supports as well, usually more on the position 4 side. Glimmer Cape and Yule's Scepter are often position 5 items. Often bought on the Ogre Magi as well is the drums, which can basically be used to increase attack speed and movement speed of your allies, which is very beneficial as well. But regardless of that, Ogre Magi, he is the top hero of the current meta with regards to support, and he happens to be very beginner friendly. Let's talk about hero number 2. And the next very high win rate support hero that is very effective for beginning and new players is Warlock. Now, Warlock has been in an absolute tear lately as a position 5. Combos very well with popular heroes like Spectre and Juggernaut, and there's a number of reasons for this. Now, Warlock has a lot more complexity than Ogre Magi, but he does core things here that I think will help a new and beginning player learn some of the fundamentals of Dota 2. Mainly, he's got a heal, he has damage potential, he has area of effect zoning capability, and he has an ultimate that requires perhaps some micromanagement and coordination. But either way, he's a damn effective hero, and let's talk about what makes him effective. First of all, one of the things that makes him effective is Shadow Word. The idea that you can heal an ally, right? So if that was a hero, you can actually kind of keep your position 5 in lane by healing them, supporting them, and keeping their keeping them in lane and keeping their presence active. You can do damage with Fatal Bonds, which basically links opponents together, and any damage done to one is kind of split amongst the others, which is a pretty neat effect. You also have Upheaval, which is a very large AoE, and what you do here is the longer you channel it, like I can't move, right? The longer I channel it, the bigger the slow impact is, which is pretty cool because you basically discourage opponents from entering a specific spot. And then finally you have your Golem, the Chaotic Offering, which is your ultimate, which basically is a massive Golem that comes down and fights on your behalf. It is an absolute monster. It stuns on impact, it uses basically all your mana, and it is capable of pushing towers and doing damage. Very interesting. Warlock, an awesome hero. Now, with regards to items, okay, the itemization for Warlock is a little unique because, like Ogre, he's not particularly item dependent, but he does benefit from certain things. Now, Ogre benefits himself with something like an Aether Lens. Warlock doesn't necessarily need an Aether Lens. You'll start with something like this here. What you're doing here is, again, you are starting with, you're starting with Tangos. You have an Enchanted Mango just in case, because the problem with Shadow Word and others is that well, right now it's at level, it's maxed up, but at level 1 it's 120 mana. It's a lot. And if your carry's in trouble and needs to get healed up, right, a Mango is going to allow you to do that. You need to sustain your mana. You also need to make sure that you can heal your carry much more rapidly in the event you're out of mana, so that's why you carry a salve. Now, in the early game, you will be responsible for buying salves, clarities, and smokes of deceits, of course, but you are going to be going for an early boots of speed. That is going to give you the evasiveness you need to move around and position your abilities. Now, ultimately, you do build towards arcane boots. This is simply to sustain your mana cost, because the Warlock is not an effective right clicker. Like, he's not effective auto attack damage. Your primary strength comes from your abilities, so it's very important that you kind of have enough mana to cast those abilities. From there, what you're going to want to do though is you're going to want to start building items that really benefit, like in the mid game, you're going to want to benefit your team. Now, you can't, as a position 5 or a position 4, Warlock's a position 5 generally, like, you have limited resources, right? So you can't buy everything. You can't. So you have to identify, like, and this comes with experience, but you have to identify, okay, there's a clockwork on the opposite team. I need a Force Staff so that if if one of my allies, or if I get locked in his cogs, I can Force Staff out of there, right? You need to be able to identify those things. Oh, we're against a very magic-based lineup. There's a Necrophos on the other team. I need this in order to increase my magic resistance and to get away from opponents or to protect myself when spells are cast on me or allies. Okay? This is often used as an escape in lower MMRs. But you probably are in a situation where you buy one or both before the game's over. It's very unlikely you're able to get to the Agnum Scepter. Agnum Scepter is fantastic. Who doesn't want multiple golems? I would love multiple golems, but it's very unlikely to happen unless the game goes really long. Realistically, you're likely to buy a Glimmer Cape and a Force Staff in order to help you benefit the team. If you're against PAs and other heroes that tend to jump on you, you can buy a Ghost Scepter in order to make yourself kind of ethereal so that you do not get attacked. Another item that tends to go very well if you're position 4 is a Spirit Vessel. Or you can go a Holy Locket, which is actually kind of back in the meta now. And it's interesting because you are one of the few heroes in this game that has a targeted heal. So the Holy Blessing passive actually amplifies your Shadow Word, which is great. And boom, you're a healer now, which is great as well. The nice thing about Holy Locket as well is it has a pretty good buildup with useful items all throughout. And then you find yourself with just a relatively cheap recipe, so it's pretty friendly for relatively new players. And I've spoken about it before, and I'll say it again. Do not underestimate the value of a casual windlace in order to increase your movement speed, because as a Warlock, you are very, very vulnerable, so utilize those items to make yourself more survivable. And the next support with an absolutely phenomenal win rate is Treant Protector. Treant Protector is a phenomenal support right now, doing a lot of work in both position 5 and 4. Now, Treant Protector tends to be in the position 4 off-lane role because of his Nature's Guise, which allows him to travel amongst trees, and because his level 10 talent allows him to go invisible in the trees. All very valuable. Now, Treant Protector is also one of the few heroes that has heals all over the place. He can directly heal and provide bonus armor. He can heal through Leech Seed, and he can also gank using Nature's Grasp. And he has a very effective ultimate in Overgrowth. He's also very survivable because of Nature's Guise, which again allows him to kind of slither amongst the trees. Wrong button. It allows him to get in the trees and basically evade attacks. Because if you're here, your opponent can't really get to you. So he's more survivable, and that's why you often see him in the off lane. Okay? Now, the Living Armor can be cast on buildings. It can be cast on yourself. it can be cast on allies, it can be cast on anybody, and it's a very effective heal. The Nature's Grass can be used to affect opponents. Anyone who stands or runs through this is slowed and takes damage. Leech Seed is a good heal as well, and again, Overgrowth is a fantastic ability. Why is my UI broken? I don't know what's going on here. Anyways, let's talk about items quick. Now, items on Treant Protector, I had mentioned how he was similar to Ogre Magi in a sense, and that he needed to use an Orb of Venom. Why? Why do you use an Orb of Venom on a Treant Protector? And the reason is quite simple. Because he can go in the trees. Now, when you're like, this is not the best example, but let's get an enemy hero in here. Let's get an enemy. Here you go, Axe. Just like thumping this poor Axe, eh? So let's get in here. Let's get in the trees here. I'm going to go in the trees over here. Is there a rock there? Is that why I couldn't get in? Let's go over here. So basically, the reason why you use the Orb of Venom here is because you can kind of get in the trees, and he can't really see you. This is a bad example, but in the regular lanes, he can't. And then you kind of pop out and smoke him and get back in the trees, right? And you're applying the slow to him, and then what it allows you to do is get maybe a follow-up attack while he's trying to run away. And then because you do so much damage, obviously I'm inflated at level 7 right now, but Treant Protector does one of the highest auto attack damages in the game at level 1. It allows you to jump in and out of the trees and just smack guys and maybe follow up with an additional smack. So, very valuable. It also allows your team to follow up as well. You can go over Corrosion if you wish. The main value of this is the slow. That's why I'm hesitant here, but if you're in the off lane and you want the health and you're building the fluffy hat anyway, you may as well get the Blightstone regardless. But anyways, I tend to just stay with the Orb of Venom. I don't necessarily build over Corrosion, but it's your choice. In the early game, again, you're going to be buying smokes and healing salves and clarity. So, because you're a position 4 or 5, your ability to generate items is a little slower. Generally as a 4, right? You are going to be building towards Tranquil Boots. You have a really good build up here, right? You're going to go probably your Windlace first. You're going to take your Ring of Regen. You're going to be using all your regen up, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to buy your boots. You got yourself your Tranquils. Beauty. From there, you're going to build towards Meteor Hammer. Now, Meteor Hammer is great because it has a good build-up as well, right? I like to start, you can start with the Crown if you wish, but if you're still in lane, you can get the Ring of Health. And then what you can do, because, you know, you're not too item slot dependent, if you wish, you can take a Void Stone. It builds into a Perseverance. Then you get yourself a crown, which is 4 attributes. You can even start with the crown if you wish. And then 250 for the Meteor Hammer recipe, which is so cheap for a recipe. That means that all throughout this process, you are gradually building your strength, and you only have to wait 250 gold in order to actually complete the item itself. Now, the reason why you use the Meteor Hammer is because, otherwise known as the Meme Hammer, is because you can hide in the tree and cast it. So you're protected, but you're able to actually create the effect of Meteor Hammer, which can stun opponents, and it can also combo very well with Overgrowth. So that's why you're using the Meteor Hammer, because it allows you to basically stay in the trees, and like if you're defending a tower, you can defend a tower from the trees, and you know, it keeps you safe because you're able to channel the ability while hidden using Nature's Guise. Okay? Now, the second item is the Blink Dagger. The reason why Blink Dagger is so important is because Overgrowth is a very effective root, and it does a lot of damage, and it holds the opposition in place. So let me quickly go over here. Where's my axe? Axe is over here somewhere, isn't he? Oh, okay, we'll make new axes. We got some new axes here. Spread out Mr. Axes. We're gonna level you guys up just so you don't die immediately. The way it works, usually people know Overgrowth is a kind of a very good ultimate. So people run in and they're like, oh, I'm running out. So it has a very high range here, but people know to avoid the Treant Protector. So, hey, where you guys? Get over here. Get over. Oh, there's the axe. But what you can do is you can, just like, you know, Tidehunter's ult or Ravage or anything like that, or Sand King, what you can do is you could blink Overgrowth and basically make sure you're rooting everyone very effectively without dying or without getting baited or having them run away. So it's a very effective ability. That's why you often see Treant Protector building a Blink Dagger in order to execute it. As you get into the later game, there's items you can get. So if you're a 4, Spirit Vessel, once again, is very good to get early on in the game and to use. Drums is very good. Solar Crest is often built on Treant because he's a melee hero. He gets up there, he needs the additional armor. But because he can cast it on allies, you go from Medallion to Solar Crest. It's a very effective item. Again, Casual Windlace, I'm a big fan of it. But a lot of players tend to go to the Aghanim Scepter. The reason for Aghanim Scepter is simply for the scouting ability of his Scepter ability, which is Eyes in the Forest. So what he does is he enchants a tree, which gives him unobstructed vision of that location, and when he casts Overgrowth, heroes in that area are kind of damaged. So watch, what you usually do is you find a tree that's very hard to see, and you cast that. So that tree's not inherently obvious because like it has like a little effect around it. I'll show you. So if I go over here on this tree and I cast it here, you can see that like the tree's kind of like glimmering and there's grass underneath it. It kind of gives away the fact that that tree has been enchanted with Eyes in the Forest. But this tree, it's harder to see. You can still, it's still there obviously, but it's harder to see. So what you try and do is you often try and hide the Eyes in the Forest a little bit so that it's on a tree that isn't apparent. And the nice thing is when you cast your ultimate, which I'm just going to refresh here, the Eyes in the Forest will actually impact, it'll actually root people in the areas around those given trees. But scouting wins games in Dota 2, and that is why this ability is so valuable, simply so you can keep tabs on key locations throughout the map. And as I said, Aghanim's realistically as a 5/4 Treant, that's going to be your end game. You're not going to be able to use many other items there. Let's talk about hero number 4. And the 4th hero that I recommend for new players and beginners alike is Jakiro. Jakiro is an absolutely fantastic hero. Look at this guy. He's a ice and fire dragon. He's a two-headed ice fire dragon. How you not love him? But he's a great hero. He's a good win rate, a positive win rate, and he's very beginner friendly, but he's also good at core things that make you able to gain MMR and win games. Primarily, he can defend towers, he can push waves, he can clear waves, and he can stun and root opponents. Very useful kit. Let's talk about it. So basically what you can do here is, you know, you have a wave, his Q, which is dual breath. It does some bird damage and slow. What you can use it, you can, what am I doing here? That was an awful cast. But what you can see though is that it's basically affecting, let me do that again. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna cast it, and it does a lot of damage to the lane. It helps you push the lane and kind of force towers, right? Now let's pretend for a sec that they were getting really close to our tower and we wanted to defend this area, right? Like a choke point. Macropyre is excellent at that. So watch. Or let's say we want to take this tower and apply more pressure. Usually you use it defensively. Hey, spawn! There you go. You can use Macropyre, which is like basically like an amped up version of dual breath. And then you can stack them if you really want for even more damage. And basically what it does is it really like protects the lane. So in the mid, when you're protecting your tower, you can use it to basically like make it so like the tower is impossible to take, because you're completely clearing all the creeps and preventing enemies from going to that area. A very effective zoning tool with only a 1-minute cooldown, which is not too crazy. You have, again, dual breath. So liquid fire is pretty awesome in the early parts of the game, because liquid fire can be used to harass. So it can be used to add some additional damage to your attacks there. Like you see that burning damage there, the burning magical damage. And it can be used very effectively in the early game just to kind of like poke away at an opponent and harass them. Ice Path is a bit tricky to hit. It has a delay on it, and what it does is it basically roots and stuns. So let's see this in effect. So look, see? Stun and root there. But as you can see, there was a delay there, right? So watch, when I cast it, it's forming, and now it's actually stunning. What that means, though, is that a very talented player will see this coming and get out of the way, so it doesn't actually impact them. So you almost got to lead it a bit and anticipate where your opponent's going to be, okay? But overall, Jakiro and Absolute, this is already back up. Let's push this wave. I don't recommend you use your Macropyre just to push a wave. You usually use it defensively or to like take a tower or something like that. But again, you have an idea here of how effective these two are being used in tandem. Now with regards to itemization here, itemization, starting items. Again, Jakiro is almost exclusively played as a position 5 support in the safe lane. So you're going to be buying 2 tangos, you're giving 2 off to your mid laner, you're taking a healing salve for yourself or for your primary carry, you're taking a clarity, you're taking 2 mangoes, and iron branches. Now the reason why you're doing this, and that does equal 580 gold. It feels like a lot. It feels like a lot, but that is 580 gold. The reason why you're doing this, 2 mangoes, is important because these skills are very expensive. Dual breath is 140 mana at level 1, which ironically outpaces the Enchanted Mango, which kind of sucks. So you do have to bear that in mind. You can't just use a mango and use the ability. You still need a buffer of 4 mana. That's why I keep 2. I mainly keep it for the Liquid Fire. Liquid Fire requires no additional mana, but what it does is it allows you to basically have additional HP regen, and then what you do is when you find that you're harassing very effectively, you can then Dual Breath or you can Ice Path, using your mangoes to kind of suddenly do a ton of burst damage. Let me kind of explain. So let's see, where's our axe here, right? So what you can do here, so you'll find yourself quickly running out of mana. You do this, you find yourself able to get a kill, so you use a mango and you stun him in place while he's taking all this AoE damage, right? Look at how much AoE damage he's taking. He took a ton of damage there. I'm also leveled higher than him. But the idea is that you use the mangoes in order to kind of combo these together in order to take advantage of your like damage over time capabilities, okay? So very good item, very useful on Jakiro. It's unfortunate it got nerfed, but still a good item overall. And the Iron Branches simply allow you to trade better earlier in the game. As you move to the early game here, you are going to be building Tranquil Boots. I do recommend, so you're going to be using, we're going to pretend like we used all this stuff here. Not that, we use this. We'll get rid of these two, why not? You're going to be building probably Windlace and Regen first, and then you go to your Boots of Speed. From here, what you're going to want to do is, again, you're buying Tangos, Clarities, and Smokes of Deceits in order to benefit your team. Now, Jakiro, again, he doesn't really have too much item dependency, honestly. Yes, he can benefit from Aether Lens. Veil of Discord's a really cool item on him if you find yourself doing a lot of damage, because what you can do, you can create, basically it allows you and your entire team to do 18% more magic-based damage, and all of this is magic. All of it's magical, right? So he's doing all magic-based damage, so Veil of Discord is valuable on him. But usually in support roles, as a position 5, you're not usually building Veil of Discord. You often see people getting the Yule Scepter of Divinity. That is simply a good item for, if someone jumps on you, like, if a PA jumps on you, you can use yourself, or you can use the PA. Force Staff is actually purchased much more frequently than Yule Scepter. It basically allows you to reposition yourself in order to pull yourself to safety, because you are very slow and you have no escape. So having the Force Staff will allow you to escape situations that, might get you killed. The Glimmer Cape is very similar. It has good team utility and also helps you to escape as required, but you often cast it on your teammates to help them escape a sticky situation. As you move into the late game, like if you're getting really farmed or the game's going really late, Scythe of the Vise is probably the best item, simply for the fact that you can call it the sheep stick. We used to call it the sheep stick, but basically it's a little piggy stick now. And what you do is it not only gives you a lot of useful statistics and stuff like that. The major thing is the active hex. So say you have a super farmed up hero. He's out of control. He's going to one-shot you. He's going to kill you. You can just sheep him, and basically your team can then spank him. Right? And by spank him, I mean jump on him, kill him, whatever, right? But the idea of having a disable that really takes advantage of the fact that, hey, it doesn't matter what level you are. It doesn't matter how much health or mana you have. Well, it actually does. It takes 250 mana. I should correct myself there. But you're able to basically disable one of the core carries of the opposing team with the press of a button. So Scythe of the Vise is a very good item for Jakiro. If you find yourself doing a ton of damage, you can get a Rod of Eidos, and what that basically allows you to do is something like this, right? You see a guy, you rod him, and then you Ice Path him and he's stuck. So basically, he's just been sitting in all that there. It's basically a combo, right? So what you're able to do is you're able to rod, and then you're able to Ice Path, and then drop your abilities, and it basically just locks him in place and makes him take tons of damage. But Jakiro, a very straightforward hero to play. The key thing is, if you're at low MMRs, he's able to push lanes and defend towers and push towers very effectively with his abilities. He's an excellent hero. Fantastic harassment in the lane as well. Overall, a fantastic hero. Let's talk about hero number 5. Hero number 5 for beginners playing support in patch 7.28 is Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman, with his positive win rate, has always been a very effective hero in the Dota 2 meta, and that has not changed. And there's a couple things that make him particularly powerful. First of all, his ability to push towers with his Mass Serpent Ward, his ability to lock down heroes with shackles, his ability to render people useless as a small little chicken, and his ability to clear waves with Aether Shock. Let's take a look at these in action. So Aether Shock allows you to basically push the wave. Hey, there's guys here. I want them gone. You Aether Shock them. Well, as you increase in level, it becomes more effective. But basically, you're able to Aether Shock, and you're able to push lanes very effectively here, and it allows you to kind of go on to towers. If you have enemies, right, you're able to combo them, kind of similar to Lion in a way. Well, he has a Hex too, but basically what you're able to do is you're able to kind of Hex them, and just before Hex is done, you shackle them, and then your team can jump on them and do damage and get the kill. You can also do a combination like this, where you drop your wards and then shackle. There we go. What was that delay there? Those little weird. I queued it and kind of delayed awkwardly there, but that's okay. But that's kind of that combo there very quickly. But the major thing here is that your Mass Serpent Ward should always be on cooldown, because you're dropping it on. This guy's going to die again. Get out of there. Don't die again, buddy. You suck. But anyways, you want to push towers. You want to force towers. So what you're doing is you're dropping the wards on towers. Constant pressure. You're clearing lanes with Aether Shock. You're pushing towers with your Mass Serpent Ward. You are a tower threat as a Shadow Shaman. Okay, that is the core thing that you're looking to do. Get it done. Now, with regards to items, once again, position 5. So Shadow Shaman is a position 5 centric hero. So you're taking 2 sets of tangos, 2 of which go to your mid laner. You're getting a Clarity, a Salve, 2 mangoes, and 2 branches. Once again, for grand total of 580 gold. What you're doing here is you're using the enchanted mangoes in order to take advantage of your Hex and your Shackles when required. Shackles is 140 mana at level 1, and it is a huge kill opportunity. So it's very important that you have enough mana. You're like, oh, that guy's gonna die. I need a Shackle, right? You use your mangoes, or use 1 mango, and you shackle the guy as necessary, and you get it done. Okay. In the early game, there, what you're going to be doing is you are going to be using, salves and clarity, stuff like that, buying smokes of deceits, just like I told you before. But you're going to be building arcane boots. Now, this situation is very similar to Ogre Magi. What you want is you want the arcane boots, because you're going to be using them for a while. As a position 5, your gold generation is very slow. You're not getting last hits that often. But as you get Aether Shock up and you start pushing lanes and taking towers, suddenly you start to get influxes of gold. Shadow Shaman's really good at that. Shadow Shaman's really good at these influxes of gold, and you can buy your arcane boots. And then what you do is the same thing that you did with Ogre Magi. You have the energy booster in the arcane boots, so what you're going to do here is you're going to buy the Void Stone, and then you're going to save up for the Aether Lens recipe. And then when you have them, you disassemble, you unlock combining on the energy booster, you have yourself the Aether Lens, and then you buy the rest here as a Windlace and a Ring of Regen. You unlock this, and boom shakalaka, you got yourself some Tranquil Boots. From there, I should change the order of this. I actually like this. Hey, change the order there. Here you go, buddy. There you go. I actually really like the Agnum Shard for the Shadow Shaman. I'll show you an example here. Axe is all the way over there. I'll make another axe. Hey, axe, I need you over here. Another axe here. There he is. I don't want you to die so quickly, though. Okay. So, anyways, when we have a regular shackles, right? So whoops. So we have our regular combo. So we do. I keep clicking on them. Okay. So we have this here, and then we shackle them, right? That's not a lot of damage. Even at level 3, that's not a lot of damage, right? But what we can do is with the shard. Stop attacking for a second. What we're going to do is we actually get 4 Serpent Wards attacking the target, and it increases the Shackles range by 150. That's huge, because one of the other core items here, I actually just got the talent there. One of the other core items is, so we have an Aether Lens, which is great because you want the Shackles distance, but also Blink Dagger. So you can get an Agnum Shard and actually skip the Blink Dagger, which I think is great, and I'll show you how that works. So, or you can just go Blink Dagger if you wish. Depends on the style of play you want to do, but look how far his Shackles range is. That's huge with an Aether Lens, right? Huge Shackles range. What you can also do here, so we're going to refresh everything here. I'll get rid of the Aether Lens just so you can see the Scepter Shackle range. So you can still shackle from pretty far away. That's very significant. With Aether Lens, it's even further. But Aether Lens will also benefit stuff like your Aether Shock as well. I do like Aether Lens on him as well. But this Agnum Shard is simply fantastic. It's really good for jungling as well. Traditionally, what we used to do is not go the Agnum Shard. And we used to have to do stuff like this, where you would blink in. I keep selecting him. So what you would do is you would blink in. Oh, it's... Good demo, Alex. You blink in, you hex, and then you shackle. But the idea is that you're blinking in to take them by surprise. But with the Aether Lens and the shackles upgrade, you can kind of get away with not even running a blink dagger and simply just grabbing them. And then if you run out here, kind of just hexing them anyway, because you have the cast distance, right? Because without the shackles shard, the cast difference on, like, you cannot hex and you cannot shackles into hex. You have to hex into shackles because this is has a lower range than hex. That's why people open with hex then shackles. That's why you hex and then you shackles, because it allows you to kind of close the gap a little bit. So very interesting itemization options here. So realistically, if you like building Blink Dagger on this guy, you can. But, you know, you don't necessarily have to if you're a beginner. You can go to the Aghanim Shards, skip the Blink Dagger, and then you can go to Aghanim's. Now, what Aghanim Scepter allows you to do, and this is if you get really farmed up, you go Aghanim Scepter, it basically gives your, it allows your Serpent Wars to do just more damage. It basically allows them to shoot split shots. They're just way stronger. And you want this because your whole thing is taking towers, winning the game. Now, with regards to, like, really late in the game, you can get something like a Refresh Orb, and what that allows you to do is something like this, right? You basically cast, refresh, cast again. And now you got 2 sets! It's impossible to stop! And that allows you to take down towers and Raxes and stuff like that very, very effectively late in the game when you're trying to push to win to get the Ancient, okay? Now, with regards to situational items, because you're probably, like, this is a kind of greedy build, but hey, what are you going to do? It's very unlikely you get to Aghanims and Refresh Orbs. These are, like, games that go absolutely crazy, right? Realistically, if you find yourself in a game where you need a Glimmer Cape, or your allies need a Glimmer Cape, you can definitely build a Glimmer Cape. Force Staff, we've already talked about it. Boots of Travel is a great item as well. If you get to a really late part of the game, you can also decide to go Boots of Travel by when you. Okay, let me explain that better. So let's say you have your Arcane Boots and you disassemble them. Okay, you use this to build your Aether Lens. You can hold your boots and then save it to go Boots of Travel so that you can move around the map using your Aether Shock and your Mass Serpent Wars to push lanes, right? That is an option as well. I tend to like being a little more conservative, going Tranquils and just going forward from there. Once again, Ghost Scepter is a very kind of heavy item, so if you have an opponent that is attacking you, let's get our crazy scary guy again. He's oh, Shaman wants to fight him. Not a good idea, right? We're gonna refresh here. He's gonna kill us. He's gonna kill us. He's gonna kill us. We're gonna go to our tower. Gotta get to our tower. Now he can't attack us. Now he can't attack us, and now we're in the safety of our tower. Okay, that's why Ghost Scepter is so important. He has no natural escapes. The only escape he really has before that is blink, but if he takes damage, he can't blink. Or if he's taking a lot of damage here, he can hex and run. But look, the hex unit can still move. It can still move, so it's not that much of an escape. It just helps anyways. But anyways, guys, those are the items for Shadow Shaman. You want to go survivable. This is greedy, but hey, it works. You're going to have games that go that far. But Shadow Shaman has one of the best item shards in the game right now. Definitely use it. The Shackles upgrade is key for not only, you know, flash farming, but also for helping, you know, take down enemy heroes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and a very special thank you to all of our wonderful subscribers. We'll see you guys in the next video.